Yeah. Good morning, folks. It's Kurt, and we are live. Well, there you are. It is January 3rd, 2024. I hope you guys are enjoying 2024 as it gets started. I'll tell you, I am. I'm enjoying this. I knew that the momentum from 2023 was going to push forward. I knew the move to Kansas was the right thing. I knew moving the company was the right thing. I knew keeping those contract affiliations that we had. I knew that was the right thing. And what I didn't know was that there was going to be all this opportunity that would show up once we got to Kansas. And so I've been really, really happy with the way things have been going, the way things have turned out, and really just wanted to chat with you about a couple of other things. Now, over the weekend, I got on here and I was like, hey, here's my message of gratefulness. Here's my way of paying it forward. I gave folks the link to our free 2024 digital planner and journal. To me, that's huge. Like, having a place to plan, to journal, to write down ideas, to maybe outline your next course if you're a course creator, having a space where you can take those notes, not a copybook that's going to get lost somewhere, but a digital planner where it can sync to other things. Like, so I physically write, here it is. I physically write in this thing. And so if I were to turn this on, it's going to open up and you're going to see, all kinds of stuff. But like, for example, you know, here is Action Leadership from the Edge, right? My whole book is in here. And so when I have something that I want to jot down or a concept I want to write or an idea I want to flesh out, I open up a notebook inside this digital planner. I begin to take my notes, draw myself a little picture or some kind of infographic or something like that. Sometimes it's just a quick jot, right? But it syncs to my laptop, it syncs to my phone, So everything that I put inside that tablet ends up also synced to my phone. So it ends up being a really great way to capture these ideas and to keep moving forward with the things that I move forward with. Now, as we dive into today's message a little bit, I'll see people coming in. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to just let me know where you're from or say Happy New Year, I'm all about it. In fact, if you're watching this as a replay, if it comes in your LinkedIn feed or your Facebook feed, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just put in a comment. I love to hear from folks, and I try to answer all the comments that I see. Now, a couple of things. I put in here consistency, outspoken, tenacious. Those are three words that have come my way often recently, where people are actually giving me an evaluation of me, right? And so maybe sometimes that sounds weird to say, but just this morning, I got into my post status. I'm not going to tell you who this is from, but it says, says, "Morning, Kurt. I wanted to reach out and ask you a simple question about blogging, speaking, and being yourself in public." So here comes the question, right? I had just put out a blog post last week, 2 weeks ago, about balance. It was after I got back from the Marine Retailers Association where I spoke there. And one of the other speakers, the keynote speaker, the closing speaker, Dan Thurman, gave this talk about balance. And he was talking about how balance is an activity. It's not a noun, it's an activity. And that balance requires effort, requires activity for us to be able to maintain that balance, right? And so I had to think to myself, am I about personal branding? Am I about corporate branding? Since Manana No Mas is so deeply intertwined with Kurt Von Onen, is that is it an issue for me to be too personal online? And so I just written about this, and then I get this question in post status, and so it says, about being yourself in public. As I start my own business journey, should I write articles specifically focusing on marketing and work related issues? Or should you show more of the human side of yourself and your company? Also, how does that shape you? How does it shape how clients see you? I know that in order to network and gain business is to put yourself out there, but when you speak and write about personal events, finance, jobs, relationships, etc., how is that going to affect how clients perceive you, and how does that affect your SEO? Well, first off, I want to be really honest in my answers. So SEO is not a strong point for me. I'm so focused on content creation, communication, creating that relationship with people. In fact, my response to this gentleman is like, hey, SEO really could be my Achilles heel. If someone has a simple web project, they have a focused business, a focused message, and they want SEO on that focused message. Yeah, we can optimize the website, put in some SEO tools. We can do, yeah, functionally we can do that. But when you get into the aspect of personal branding, corporate branding, and living this job or living this business that you're creating, trying to fit that all into an SEO folder to me is kind of a difficult proposition. My advice is to be yourself. Be yourself. When I meet with clients, whether it's on Zoom or I meet them in person and shake their hands, I come to them with the energy that is Kurt Von Ahnen, not the energy that is, my pseudonym Mañana no Mas. People want to do business with people. Given all things are equal, people will do business with people they like and trust. I can't remember who that quote is from, but it's one of Timothy Morgan's favorite quotes. So, given all things equal, people will do business with people they know, like, and trust. I have clients that will literally send me messages, unbelievably kind messages that say, it's wonderful doing business with you. I love how direct you are. Or, hey, I love your responses. You always put your family first. you know Now that's kind of a weird way to get a message, right? So you could take that the wrong way. You could say, oh, you always put your family first, which means we know we're last, and you treat us like crap. That's not what that means. What that means is, I get a message from a client, they're like, hey, how are your holidays? I'm like, well, it's awesome. We got to spend time with family. We had a great meal together. I saw my sister-in-law that I haven't seen in a while. I said, but we're back at it at the office. What services can we offer you today? Right. And so they're like, man, I just love that your response, your energy, your focus is, well, it's balanced, right? It's not just business. Man, things are great, things are awesome, and I'm always talking about finding the opportunities within the obstacles, right? So it's hard for me to see things that aren't positive, even if there's a negative surround. So for that question, that's how I answered that. It was, how do you feel about putting yourself out there? Now, I got to be real honest with you here about finances. I don't think I'm too transparent about finances. When I say living in Southern California, the economy was not favorable. And even if business went up, I felt like we were still going backwards. So we escaped the negative economy of California and we moved to Kansas. I lowered my overhead by 65% moving from California to Kansas. Um, some people would say, well, maybe that's a little too transparent. And I would say, no, I don't think that's transparent really at all. Those are facts. It's anyone that looks at any kind of cost of living indexes or anything like that is going to see there's a pretty big difference between California and Kansas. I can tell you living it, that the difference is much more than those grids will tell you. But, you know, people that see me on post status or see me on the internet, they may not have any idea, that I just quoted $37,000 for a website, and then I quoted another company $1.4 million in consulting and web development, or a company down in Florida $220,000 to custom build them a learning management platform and build out their content with them. So a lot of people don't have to know the scope or the size of things that we are doing in house. I'm not too transparent about that stuff. But I like people to know that business is going up or business is struggling. If we weren't getting the opportunities to bid and propose those jobs, my messaging would be a little different. My messaging would be like, hey, it's been a while since we've put a really good proposal out there. And if you are a company, especially a service oriented company that has a consumer product, we would love to talk to you about, your web presence, how you train new people coming in, how you onboard people through HR, how you educate the public about your product, your services, and how you educate people in the field to repair those products, provided they need repair, right? And then by them answering those questions, we know, well, this is a perfect fit for the Mañana No Mas agency, right? But That's not where we're at today. Where we're at today is things are great. We're making all kinds of proposals. We've got opportunities. We've got people reaching out to us, and things are going pretty good. So I think at the end of the day, when someone asks a question like, how much of yourself do you put into your content? It's really up to you. Some people are wired to be private, and some people are wired to be a little more transparent. And that's like a natural call, right? That's like, I'm talking not forced. If you have to force yourself in either one of those directions, people pick it up, people sense it. And when they sense it, they pull back. So whether if you are normally, a button your shirt up to the top button, spreadsheet pencil kind of guy, and then you're trying to act like you're some kind of gregarious fret kid, people will pick up on it. It won't be authentic. And so my advice is, whatever your natural call to communication is, always push the envelope, always try to get better, always try to improve yourself, but be true to yourself at the same time, right? So stick within your lane that feels natural. And over time, you will grow, or you will learn, or you will adapt, and you'll expand. What Chris Badgett says, like land and expand. There's so many different ways to use that phrase, but land and expand. Get started. Start making the content. Start reaching out to people, and be yourself. And as your internal brand develops and begins to take on some momentum of its own, you'll feel the way that you should go. And that will attract the clients that you need to be working with. We all have clients we want to work with. We all have like an aspiration. Oh, I'd love to have, you know, SpaceX as my client. I'd love to have, you have these big visions, right? But in reality, you want the clients that fit you best. You want the clients that you should be working with. So sometimes those aspirations would really be a nightmare if it came true. Sometimes you just really need to focus on what you're meant to connect with, what is natural, and what feels like when you communicate with them, you're adding value to them, but they're also adding value to you. And it's a win-win situation. And those are the best, right? So my recommendation there is just be yourself. So that's the outspoken part of it. The consistency part came from another message that I'd got from a sales professional. I really look up to this guy. He's a super solid dude. We met. We've done an event before together. He was a speaker at an event that I had hosted, and he read a couple of my blog posts. He got an email that came out from my system, and he responds back. Right. So this is cool, right? It says, "Good for you, Kurt. Consistency is your calling card." So now this guy's seen me now for, God, I'm going to say it's 4 years already. I can't believe it's like 4 years. I think it's been 4 years now, but it's 4 years. So he says, consistency is your calling card. Keep up the great work. And then committed to helping you succeed. So he's reaching out, making sure that his name's on my radar, but he's also being, I think, rather complimentary, saying consistency is your calling card. And that's what I said in the notes to this video is, you know what? You got to show up. You gotta show up and do. So many times people, are looking to hit that home run, and they might hit a couple of home runs, but if you don't do anything in between the home runs, you're just a spark, right? And you want to become a flame. You want to be sustainable. You want people to go, man, that cat is dependable. That dude doesn't give up. And that's where Tenacious comes in. When I talk to people like Chris at Lifter LMS, when I talk to Jonathan at WP Tonic, when I talk to Spencer Foreman, when I talk to, other people, and we have conversations, real conversations. Like I was talking to Katie Keith at WordCamp US, Adam Weeks, another great guy that I just met recently. But there's, my head's spinning now with all these names, all these cool people. There is a flow in the conversation that comes to work ethic, tenacity, being willing to pivot, so examine where you're going, examine the direction, and see if you need to change that rudder a little bit. And a sense of tenacity, a sense of, nobody's going to hand this to me. I got to go and I got to make this happen. I got to show up. And so consistency, being outspoken, exhibiting some sense of tenacity, being tenacious, man, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And when I get these comments back, and these are the comments that I am receiving, I'm not searching for them. I didn't ask for that person to send me an email. I didn't ask for someone to reach out to me on post status and ask me that question. But when those communications come in, you have to recognize, if that was coming to you, you would be like, man, I'm on the right path. Some of the work I'm doing is having a positive effect. Now, is that immediately filling my bank account? Because, that's where the negative Nancy's come in and go, yeah, well, how much money is that going to make you? Right. Well, good deal. Someone called you consistent, but did they pay you? No. um, those traits, the consistency, the being outspoken, the being transparent, the personal branding mixed with the corporate branding, the tenacity, the all of that comes together when people on the outside of your network begin to recognize that. It all comes together and it creates that energy, that branding that brings revenue to your door. I got to tell you, 2 years ago, there's no way I'd be pitching a $1.4 million marketing package to somebody. And I'm doing it this week. So if I get the job, great. If I don't get the job, great. Like, my attitude is so flexible around this. It's not a do or die thing. Rent is paid, there's gas in the truck, everything else is great. Just the opportunity to play in that field, to get in the stadium with the big guys and be able to pitch and go, are we it or not? That's a win, right? Because if you can get in that room, you can get in the next room and the next room and the next room. And it becomes a mindset thing where you go, this is coming together. We are going to the next step. This agency is going to become a real, legit agency. Got to remember, a dude working in his garage can be an agency. I used to be a dude working in my garage as an agency. Okay. So you can be an agency. You can be a dude in your garage and be an agency. Or you could be an agency with people all over the globe submitting work, working on common plans, working together, building a team, having a local office, maybe building up some apprentices and sharing your craft or your skills with young people and bringing them up into it. Like, that to me is like a legit agency. And that's happening right now, right here in Kansas. And that to me is super, super rewarding. So when people say, how much of yourself do you put into your branding versus how much of Mañana no Mas do you put into your branding? As you can see, Mañana no Mas is an extension of me, but I'm a person that naturally shares. So, like, I've had a lot of jobs. You can ask any of my past coworkers, was there a lot about Kurt that was secret? A lot of people will be like, no, I wish there was some more stuff about Kurt that was secret, right? Because I'm kind of an open book kind of guy. For some people, that's not natural. If it's not natural, don't force yourself to do it. Just build in your space, build in what has alignment for you. And as you communicate with other people, you'll start to feel yourself getting to the edge of that envelope, right? And just push a little bit out of your comfort zone, just a little bit. Just push a little out of the comfort zone, but stay authentic. And over time, you will grow and your brand will grow. And the next thing you know, you'll be in a room pitching $1.4 million marketing contracts to people and seeing what the result might be. Folks, I hope you're having a great new year. I'm telling you, the momentum out of 2023 is really great. If you're not experiencing really great right now, I would encourage you to look at maybe a big change. Take a look at the things that are surrounding you and go, what big change could I make that would really rock the boat here, really make things change? Because the folks that focused on opportunity instead of obstacles through 20, 21, 22 began to see a little light at the end of the tunnel in 23. And now they've got that momentum going into 24. Folks, that's the boat that Mañana no Mas is in right now. And so I hope that can come true for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them into the comments. I'll respond. If you would like to have, a 30-minute one-on-one session with me, you can book that. You can go to Mañana No Mas and book a session with me. Go to mañananomas.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Kurt Von Anen on LinkedIn. I'm the only Kurt Von Anen there. So when you find Kurt Von Anen, you don't have to worry about is it the right one or not. It's me. I encourage you, go ahead and connect. We'll connect through the LinkedIn messaging system and, see how we can help each other out and add value to each other. I want you to find your path. I want you to find what finds success for you. And if you are consistent, if you are outspoken as far as you are comfortable being, but you are tenacious, you will find that momentum and you'll get where you want to go. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day and finish the week strong. Here it is in Hump Day already. Bye-bye.